40 years ago, there was scarcely an egret left in North America. Only in recent years, through passage of laws prohibiting the millinery traffic in birds, have snowy and American egrets begun to regain their numbers.
The history of bird sanctuaries in the United States started way back in like 1903 for the first bird sanctuary, National Wildlife Refuge, Pelican Island, which President Roosevelt had established as a resting and feeding area for these pelicans and other wildlife. From there, it started with one National Wildlife Refuge, one bird sanctuary, and now we're up to over 500 and over 150 million acres of wildlife refuges and bird sanctuaries throughout the country. Years and years in the past, they were just open farmlands and lots of chemicals and pesticides being used on these areas. And once the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service obtained these lands or purchased these lands, they try to convert them back and restore the lands and the waters back to a safer environment for all the different types of species that need to feed and rest there and breed in those areas. My name is Frank Polyak. I'm a federal wildlife officer at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I've been a federal wildlife officer for over 23 years. I've worked over 20-some national wildlife refuges and currently working in Indiana, stationed on the Muscatatuck National Wildlife Refuge, and I patrol 3 national wildlife refuges here in Indiana.
Wildlife comes naturally to Muscatatuck. Why does it come here? Why does it thrive here? Sit back and we'll give you an unusual bird's-eye perspective of this refuge to help you understand this unique and beautiful place.
The Muscatatuck National Wildlife Refuge was established in 1966. It was created as a wildlife refuge and bird sanctuary. So now it's been kind of converted and restored back to wetlands, bottomland forest, and grasslands. Then we have a satellite unit called the Wrestler Unit, which is out just outside of Bloomington, Indiana, for migratory birds, wading birds, and if the water levels get low enough, shorebirds come and feed and rest. It's an actual closed area. The public is not allowed to enter that area. There's an observation deck where they can view the wildlife that's out there. Many of the species are protected, by these sanctuaries, and example, the bald eagle is on many of these national wildlife refuge and bird sanctuaries. Lots of wading birds, egrets, and American bittern, all sorts of songbirds that are protected that you cannot, hunt or even disturb them in any way. With bird sanctuaries and national wildlife refuges, it's critically important to have these different habitats and for them to be able to thrive in and continue to be out there so that future generations of Americans and people can come out and enjoy them for many years to come. With my job as a federal wildlife officer, it's a great position to get to be in the outdoors, protecting not just people, but the wildlife and the habitats and different ecosystems that are out there. It's important for us to have our wildlife officers out there, protecting these areas, endangered species that are living and thriving on these lands. Some are really highly critically endangered, and it's really neat if you can actually see them and then be able to point them out to other visitors or bring them to an area and say, hey, here's a highly endangered species that you may never get to see, or even just a bald eagle. I get to see those different types of animals every day, which is awesome, but someone may have never seen a bald eagle in their entire life. So when you get to see that and bring that awesome experience to them and the joy that they get to see that is pretty neat.